Hey traders, it is Monday, December 21st. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. And in today's video, we're going to discuss Sundial, up huge today, up over 30%. And that was on news that they were completing financial restructuring and achieved debt-free status. So we'll jump into that article in just a second. Also at the S&P 500 pulling back today and undergoing daily consolidation. So before we jump into today's content, make sure to smash the like. It shows me some support, and subscribe to the channel. So we'll look at some news and events. If you're new to the channel, we go over some news and events and then some charting on the broader market, including crypto, cannabis, you name it. And then we look at some individual tickers and then I give a summary. So we're a little bit earlier today. I do have an appointment in about an hour. So getting this video out a little bit earlier today. So we'll go through it a little bit faster as well, but we'll go through the news and events that I found that were very important and market moving today. So Congress agrees. We all know that the $900 billion stimulus deal has been approved after months of failed negotiations. So they reached a $900 billion relief package, according to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. And just looking through what that aid included was airlines would get about $15 billion in federal aid, and they must call back more than 32,000 furloughed workers. So that was part of the stipulations of the deal. And the relief bill offers 11 weeks of extra unemployment benefits, $300 boost and supplement for some gig workers. We also saw that the British pound falls as the UK faces a new strain and deadlock on Brexit trade talks. We also saw that the Canadian government was banning trips flights from the UK in effort to contain this new strain. We saw that Ontario and Ford orders lockdowns on Ontario starting Boxing Day, and that will run, let's just see here. So the lockdown will begin at 12:01 a.m. December 26th, and it will be in place until January 23rd. So not very good news there. I actually took a SPY short today, which I'll get into a little bit later on, but we also saw Attorney General Barr breaks with Trump, says SolarWinds hack certainly appears to be the Russians. So I think Trump last week said that, he was basically defending the Russians, and now they're saying they're unsure or they're starting to believe otherwise. So national eviction ban will be extended through January in this new stimulus deal as well. So the relief bill allocates $25 billion in rental assistance. We also saw that JPMorgan Sees Bitcoin at $650,000 per Bitcoin, and I found that pretty funny, just based on the history of Jamie Dimon and so many different hedge fund and Wall Street analysts basically saying it was worthless. And as the title of the video suggests, Sundial announces completion of financial restructuring and debt-free status. And I did a video over the weekend. I told everybody not to get too excited that it wasn't confirmed, it was just a rumor. And a couple of people were, taking it to heart and saying that it was misleading. If you found it was misleading, I apologize, but that was never the intention. It was just simply to let you know that there was a rumor floating around, and with the BNN article that came out saying that they were talking with a CEO and didn't want to be named because of the discussions were preliminary with bankers and whatnot, I found it very, very timing and very coincidental that that news came out about Sundial and Canopy. So we haven't seen anything from Sundial. We haven't seen anything from Canopy. So we'll take that with a grain of salt. Like I mentioned in my video from the weekend, it was about 12 minutes in or something like that. But I essentially said, this is very, very preliminary, and we don't even know if it's true yet. It could be completely false. It's the internet, so we need to see credible sources like Bloomberg or a direct response from Canopy or Sundial on that. But this is why Sundial is booming today. And we'll take a look at the chart here in a little bit. But Sundial Growers announced today that the company is debt-free following the prepayment of the remaining outstanding principal under its senior secured non-revolving term credit facility of $21.9 million. As of today, no debt remains outstanding. All amounts are denominated in Canadian dollars unless otherwise noted. So you can check that out, but that, in my opinion, is why we're running today. And that, coupled with, a lot of people probably speculating on a potential deal with Canopy, So I think that added fuel to the fire, but I don't think we're running on potential merger news. I think it's because of this debt-free status that they released. So we also saw that HEXO Corp and the Original Stash Reserve brand recognized for top dried flower at the 2020 Spiritleaf Awards. So I found that pretty cool. And their OS Reserve, I've tried it, it's fantastic, and nothing but good things to say about HEXO's products. So that's where we stand in terms of news and events. So we'll take a look at some charting here. So we had a broader market sell-off on that UK new strain news, just some panic and basically spooked investors. So we'll take a look at some broader markets, and then we'll take a look at some individual analysis and the cannabis sector as a whole. But as you can see, crypto pulled back as well, so nothing was spared. We saw the dollar, so DXY had a huge bounce, but basically gave it all back. We'll look at that chart in just a bit. But essentially, gold was pulling back, metals were pulling back, crypto was pulling back, stocks pulled back, pretty much everything was pulling back today on that news, and the relief stimulus bill was basically offset by that new strain news. So again, when we're running to all-time highs and we're near all-time highs and something like that comes out and spooks investors, you better believe that panic is definitely going to be a factor. So Bitcoin starting daily consolidation. So we do have EMA 12 there. We didn't quite test it yet, but bulls are buying the dip. We got about 4 hours left in this candle and just looking for a daily higher low. I mentioned it in my video last week that we haven't consolidated on the daily since all the way down here at 17,580. So don't be surprised if we see consolidation this week. And sure enough, to start today, we had that daily consolidation. So we're going to need to change the 4-hour trend back to the bulls to be confident that the daily high or low is set. We could be seeing a potential EMA 12 bear cross with EMA 26, but bulls buying the dip just like for the most part in the overall market as a whole. So we'll see, this could be a potential, we have an inside bar here now forming, but we could see a potential 4-hour higher low in an attempt to change the 4-hour trend. If we set a higher low compared to 21,913, then we'll look to break the high of 23,354 and confirm that 4-hour uptrend to be confident that the daily high or low is set. So that's where we stand. It could still be a potential daily bull flag at this point. As you can see here that we held the 0.382 fib. So we do have EMA 12 there as well. So if we do lose EMA 12, then chances of a daily bear flag or a bull flag are diminished. So if we lose 21,500, I would be throwing that out the window and be looking for more of an equilibrium type tightening range pattern. So that's where we stand on Bitcoin 4-hour chart, most important. Taking a look at SPX, so the S&P 500 index, you can see we're pulling back here. We did lose support at 363.3.4, but we did hold EMA 26, bulls buying the dip. We got about 56 minutes left in the day. So did we change the hourly trend? That's the first thing that we're going to look out for. As you can see here, low, high, no, we did not. This move is coming right off the lows, but bulls like their positioning here because we have EMA 12 potentially crossing bullish through EMA 26. If that does happen, we could look up to potential resistance here at 371.6.7, but we could essentially drop 1.5% and still be just looking for an hourly high or low. So bulls trying to get as big of a bounce here as possible to fend off more consolidation, but we held the pre-market. So if we take a look at SPY here, pre-market, so we had a 362, we held 362 pre-market. So into the beginning of the day here, when we didn't lose 362 and we didn't get follow through, we also had 5-minute bullish RSI divergence. So the price was trending down to lower highs and lower lows. So while the price was trending lower, the RSI was trending higher. So we knew to be looking out for a potential fake out, and that's exactly what we got. They basically shook out all the weak hands and we held that support and basically the low of pre-market. We didn't see any real follow through, and it was just a straight bulls buying the dip and slow grind up for most of the day. You can see here that we held EMA 12 all day long. We did lose EMA 12 and We could potentially test EMA 26 here very, very soon. And if that were to be lost, then that's a little concerning, and look for potential profit taking here into the end of the day. But that's where we stand. Let's take a look. 15-minute chart. So the 15-minute, going to be looking for a 15-minute higher low. So we could look to EMA 26 as a potential bounce point around the 366.89. So again, need hourly trend changes back to the bulls to be confident that the daily higher low is set. But that's essentially where we are in terms of consolidation. Same with QQQ, pulling back on the daily. Lost EMA 12, but bulls buying the dip, trying to close above that. That would be bullish in my opinion. But we didn't form a daily higher low on the chart compared to 298.09. So we're just looking for a daily higher low compared to that support level. And we did break to an all-time high here. So we are still like bulls are still in a good position. There's nothing to worry about. There's no red flags. Obviously, like I said, investors were very spooked today, but nothing to be worried about. I would say it's just much needed healthy daily consolidation. And again, we'll look at the hourly chart to confirm, but we have an hourly inside bar here, and we'll see if we break bullish. This hourly bounce has still got some legs to it. And if we break bear, then we'll look for an hourly higher low compared to the low of the day here at 303.60. So that's where we stand on QQQ, DXY. So gave up the entire move, saw the daily oversold bounce take place, and we saw a huge bounce, about 1.25%, but we hit a low of 89.73 and a high of 91.01. So that was a huge move, but we knew to be just looking for daily lower highs, and we had EMA 12 and 26 there as well to battle with. So on the 4-hour chart, you can see that we changed the 4-hour trend. So now we're looking for a 4-hour higher low compared to down here at, say we had another mini one here, but I'd say most important short-term support on the 4 hours is going to be 89.82. But gave back the entire move. So bulls prove absolutely nothing. And watch out for a potential falling wedge pattern, but EMA 12 has been rejecting. So basically the exact opposite of SPY. So the S&P 500 was holding EMA 12 all day, and DXY has been rejecting at EMA 12 all day in the 5-minute. And if we get above that, which we're looking to try to do here, and change the 5-minute trend, that would be notable into the end of the day. And obviously SPY bears would gladly welcome that into the end of the day here. So that's where we stand. Again, we're still in a monthly bear flag territory. And if we do see additional follow through, we have support down here at 88.25. So it'd be very, very surprised if we lost that, at least on the first attempt, based on how beat up we are. But I will be looking, like I said, I took a position in SHD today. I also have a position in XBXS and SQQQ, but just added a little bit more exposure to my SPY short. So I shorted SPY today on the, let's just see here, let me bring up the chart on the hourly. So I shorted it here at EMA 26 resistance. Once we pulled back and formed a bit of a doji, that's whenever I entered short. And like I said, just remaining protective. I have quite a few long positions in MJ. So just looking to hedge against those long positions and portfolio. But that's pretty much where we stand. Let's just take a look here. IWM down a little bit today, not very much. Essentially the same deal. Everything just consolidating on the daily. Need to change those hourly trends back to the bulls. TAN up over 3%. The solar sector continues to benefit from a Biden win. And silver, again, stronger than gold today. Gold is red and silver's still up over 1.5%. So we've been talking about that for a while now, how silver's been standing out as stronger. XBI, the biotech sector, up 1.5% so far today. So holding SPY together. XHB, the Homebuilders Etf, seeing a nice bounce today as well from the lows. Held EMA 12. Like I said, just looking for that daily higher low and need to change the hourly trend back to the bulls. XLE got slammed today, down over 3% still, and look out for a potential EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, but we do have support down here at 36.60, 36.69 it looks like. XLF, and XLF wasn't at the low of the day today when SPY was at the low of the day and QQQ, so that's why we didn't get that break from 362 in my opinion. So XLF up almost 1% today. XLRE real estate sector down 2.28%. XLV healthcare down, still down 1.5%, but nice bounce from the low of the day. And that's pretty much where we stand in terms of global indices. So we'll do a quick review of the MJ sector and Sndl. So again, we had that huge news, Sndl up over 30%, currently up only 18%. So we are seeing an upper wick here and some profit taking, but we did have over the 20 period moving average volume. So notable volume there on the day, but we knew to be just looking for a daily lower high once this daily bounce got going, because we did hit 95 and pulled back about 50%, 50+%. So we knew based on that pullback to just be anticipating a daily lower high, and the daily bounce never really got going. You can see here for about 17 days, we just lower high every candle. We had a little bit of a fake out there, but not much. We did see about a 15% bounce there, but rejected at EMA 12 on the daily. Lost EMA 26 going into last week, but obviously the financial restructuring and the debt-free status and the potential of rumors lingering definitely created a little bit of FOMO in my opinion, but it was sort of a perfect storm. And like I said, huge bounce off of that low. So we bounced from the lows almost 50%, so about 45%. So congrats to the bulls on Sundial. Huge move. Just take a look at the monthly chart here. Huge volume. So weekly, just looking for a weekly high or low. We did have EMA 12 there. I highlighted this in one of my videos last week and in the group, in the POW community. So we were looking for a weekly high or low, and we had EMA 12 there as well as a potential bounce point. And we got as low as 42 cents. We had EMA 12 at 40 cents. So you could have entered at 42, risked 2 cents or 3 cents, and you would have been up from an entry at 42, you would have risked 2 cents to make upwards of 15 cents. So those are some good odds and risk to reward. So congrats to the bulls once again, but essentially, like I said, you would risk 5 to 10% to make upwards of 30 to 40%. Seems like pretty good odds to me. And keep an eye out for a potential weekly cross of the weekly EMAs, a bull cross. They're still a ways away yet, but certainly wouldn't be surprised if we saw a huge move here in the cannabis space going into the end of the year and into next year. Again, we have the Senate runoff as well in Georgia, January 5th. So if we see more Democrats sweep there, that would obviously bode well for the marijuana sector. So 4-hour inside bar on watch could be potentially setting up for a bull cross here of the EMAs. Taking a look at the hour, we had the hourly bull cross. Now we're just consolidating on the hourly. We had a couple of inside bars there that broke bearish. And now we have EMA 12 here as a potential bounce point. So looking to hold 50 cents into the end of the day, that's extremely bullish in my opinion. And we could be looking at an hourly bull flag. So that's where we stand on Sndl. I'll just take a quick look at the weekly chart here. So again, we're still above 36 cents, which I mentioned last week as well. As long as we hold 36 cents, that's above 36 cents, that's extremely bullish. The stochastic was starting to cross bearish, but we'll see how we end the week this week after this new momentum shift. And at the weekly chart, moving averages, you can see we topped out at the 50 weekly moving average, but need to get over 73 cents. So expecting there to be strong resistance around that level if we do make our way there at some point this week. And on the daily, so we had the 200-day moving average at 54 cents. What did we top out at? 60 cents. And a close above 54 cents today would be extremely bullish, but only about 45 minutes left in the day. Not looking likely. It's possible, but we'll continue to check back on that later on. But some profit taking here now and potentially heading to 5-minute oversold. Maybe a good play as well for 5-minute oversold, looking for a quick bounce. And in terms of Canadian MJ, so Labs was down almost 10%, PCLO down over 5%, APHA down over 6%. So APHA bulls really not liking the deal with Tilray, and bears just taking full advantage of the news, but even Tilray down over 5%. So seems like the hype has left the building on that deal. And our IV, we had some news today about selling assets back to Canopy, up over 30%. So congrats to the bulls there. Sundial, obviously up huge as well, and PWR up over 10%. So that's where we stand. Wanted to highlight CGC as well on the daily. So we did have a 15-minute EQ that broke bull. So we had the low, held $25 psychological support. We had the low, the high, higher low, lower high, higher low, bull break. Now we're testing the top of that EQ. If we can break above that into the end of the day, that would be extremely bullish for the CGC bulls. So we'll continue to check back on that, but we had that EQ on watch. And looking at the daily chart here, so we'll just clean this up here. So we ran to 29.52, which was the recent high. We lost EMA 12 and 26. But you can see here that we were looking out for a potential daily bear flag. Today we had support going into today. We had support at 25.03. We hit $25. So we lost that support by 3 pennies, but ultimately held $25 support and avoided a daily downtrend there. Not really a clear pivot point, but if you wanted to argue and say that that was a daily downtrend, if we lost that with follow through, I wouldn't argue with you. But essentially, bulls held key support, and we're looking to bounce here now, and EMA 12 or 26 seems to be rejecting. So if we can get above EMA 26, close above 25.78 into the end of the day, that would be extremely bullish, and get above that 15-minute EQ resistance as well. So that's where we stand. APHA, again, already mentioned, down over 6%, ACB down over 5%, Cron. So pretty much a red day across the board in terms of MJ. We'll take a look at US MJ here in just a second, but HEXO. So HEXO, again, we had the news of the OS Reserve getting nominated for another award. This comes just after their Little Victory also won an award, Best Beverage Brand of the Year. And we also have the shares consolidating. So we'll just take a look here. They did have the split mention here. There it is. So split 1 for 4. So that's going to be on December 23rd. I did a video for that over the weekend or last week as well. But essentially on the 23rd, we have a full day of trading and a half day of trading on the 24th. So when you wake up in the morning on Wednesday, the 23rd, you'll notice that HEXO will be up 400%-ish because of the reverse split. So for every 4 shares you have, you'll be given 1, and the share price will be multiplied by 4 on that morning. So keep a watch out for that. And we did get confirmation last week on Friday after market close. So overall, holding $1, I said in my video that as long as we hold $1, that's bullish in my opinion. And if we lose $1, then we'll look down to support at 95 cents. And if we lose 95 cents, that's a little concerning, as we don't really have any daily support down till 71. But personally, I'm not worried. I'm holding this for the long term. Like I said, I have my SPY and my QQQ shorts. So I've got my SPY S&P 500 shorts on and hedging that with my MJ positions that are long. So again, we're holding EMA 12. We dipped below it a few times there, but we essentially closed above it. Today we're dipping below, and if we can close above 103, that would be ideal, but it's not looking like that's going to happen. It's only 2 cents. We'll see. Currently at 101, so still 40 minutes. So we'll see if bulls can save that. But if we do close below that today, then we could be looking to EMA 26 at 96 cents, and we have support at 95. So that would provide some nice support potentially if we do head there. So again, if we lose 95, that's a little concerning, but based on the reverse split news, I think it's pretty much priced in at this point. We've known about it since October. So I know a lot of analysts are covering the company, and we have a lot of retail traders. My YouTube videos are getting tons of views on HEXO and the cannabis space in general. It just seems like everybody's very, very bullish on the cannabis space. And I've noticed that HEXO in general just has a lot of, genuinely enthusiastic investors out there, and with good reason. Their products are amazing. They're leading innovation. They're disrupting the industry and leading the industry and causing, with their value brands, they're causing a panic and making their competitors, scramble to duplicate their efforts. And I just think the company's on track for profitability. Everything's looking great. And like I said, just as long as we hold the dollar into the end of the day, that's pretty much all bulls could really hope for. Hopefully we don't see any SPY weakness and QQQ weakness. If SPY were to drop, 5 or 10%, obviously that's going to drop HEXO significantly as well, bearing it no unforeseen news. But like I said, one more full trading day, and then we go into the reverse split. And after that, hopefully that's the end of the bad news train, and we can look to more positive outcomes in 2021. So that's where we stand in Canadian MJ. So MSOs saw some selling off today as well. I mentioned this on Trulieve. We hadn't formed a daily high or low compared to $36. So be on the lookout next week. And sure enough, we had that consolidation today. And just taking a look at the bear list, Ian was down almost 15%, MedMen down over 8%, CWeb down almost 5%. We had GRWG up over 5%, NBEV up 2.5%, and GWPH up over 2%. So those were the bulls and the bears for the day so far. Let's take a look at Trulieve again here. So on the daily, just looking for a daily high or low, could be a potential daily bull flag. Also have EMA 12 there at 39.76 as a potential bounce point. So taking a look at Curaleaf, down over 2% as well. Pretty much same deal, holding EMA 12 from all the way back here from the lows of $12. So since we crossed above, we've been holding EMA 12 like a brick wall, and that's exactly where we bounced off of today. So again, if you're using that as a visual guide, you're being rewarded for buying the dip, and it continues to just be the trend of 2020. Buy all dips until it doesn't work anymore. So just looking for daily higher lows and need to change those hourly trends. We're consolidating on the hourly now. So if we do break above resistance of $16.11, that would confirm an hourly uptrend, and daily higher lows are set. So that's where we stand. I'm going to pretty much cut it there. If there's any tickers or anything you need clarified, just let me know in the comments below. But in the effort of time, I do have an appointment that I have to run to. So hopefully you found this information valuable, and a lot to go over today. We have a short week this week, so expect volume to probably taper off into the end of the week. So again, Thursday, we are closed early on Christmas Eve on the 24th, and we're closed for the full day on the 25th. And then the next week after that, again, probably going to be just fading volume. We also have the jobless claims on Thursday, the initial jobless claims in the US, which has been trending lower for the last few weeks. So we'll continue to monitor that trend. And that's pretty much where we stand. We'll watch some oil inventories midweek. But other than that, just keeping an eye on any potential new headlines with the new strain that's been identified and whether or not the existing cure shots protect against that. Obviously, that's going to be #1 concern going in here into the end of the week and end of the month. So with that, thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap, and we'll see you tomorrow.